Libib's booktube channel. I'm your host Caitlin and welcome back to another Bookish Thursday. Today we are going to be talking about one of my favorite things that I discovered last year and that I've been loving this year, and that is the CatStronauts series by Drew Brockington. Today I have a full series review on this so far 6-book series that is just absolutely adorable and I love it so much. I figured why not do a series review? Yay! So after I'm done talking about the first book in the series, if you want to stick around for the rest, there will be some spoilers in store, but let's just kick it off with book number 1, CatStronauts Mission Moon. The CatStronauts series is created by Drew Brockington, and this series follows 4 space cats: Major Meowser, Pilot Waffles, Genius Technician and Inventor Blanket, and Science Officer Pom Pom and their CatStronauts adventures. So in book 1, we have these 4 kitties who have recently discovered there is a huge global energy crisis, and the world's greatest scientist plans to send up the CatStronauts into space to help solve this issue by building a giant solar power planet on the moon. So these little kitties go up into the moon and build some solar to save the day. I ended up rating this first book out of the series 4 out of 5 stars. I really loved and enjoyed it. I felt like it was a perfect setup to a good, cute series. It was nice to get to know these cats, how they're gonna save the world, their space adventures, and it was just so much fun goodness. Next up, we're going to talk about book 2, which is Race to Mars. So if you haven't read the rest of the CatStronauts series, I would recommend leaving. CatStronauts Race to Mars was an awesome book. We not only have the CatStronauts in space, but we're having other cat astronauts going up into space as well. And it's in a good old-fashioned space race. With their pride on the line, the CatStronauts are racing to Mars before the other teams get there. And I also rated this book 4 out of 5 stars. This second installation was probably my favorite out of this series. I really loved and enjoyed the first one, but the second book had it going on. I am all here for this good old-fashioned space race. Like, let's get to the moon! Like back in the days, I felt like that was this book with let's get to Mars. And so I was super excited to read about this tale. I also love that we get more than just the CatStronauts. I like that all these cats also collide at one point in the book in space and they have to help each other out to get to Mars. So I really loved and enjoyed this book. Next up is book number 3, which is Space Station Situation. And obviously there is a situation in space that our CatStronauts are going to have to figure out. In this third installment, Pom Pom rejoins the CatStronauts on the International Space Station. But as CatStronauts and Mission Control try to figure out answers, Waffles ends up in outer space. My internal thoughts reading this entire book is like, is Waffles gonna be saved? Like, we cannot have Waffles be gone. I ended up rating this book 3 out of 5 stars. It wasn't like my favorite out of the series, it was just an average read, and I enjoyed trying to figure out if we were gonna save Waffles. Next up is book number 4 in the series, and that is Robot Rescue. CatStronauts has been throughout this entire series with the CatStronauts, but now he is stranded on Jupiter's coldest moon after a mission gone wrong. Blanket cannot let CatStronauts just sit in a frozen ice tundra and never be able to be seen again. Blanket goes on the mission to save CatStronauts. I also rated this book 4 out of 5. I really liked this installment as well. It really kept me on edge because I was like, not CatStronauts, he's my favorite robot. And I was so scared that something bad was going to happen to him or he was gonna just not get saved, die, whatever. And at the end, we had a great and wonderful happy ending, and I was just so glad. I was just so glad. Next up, we have book number 5, which is Slapdash Science, and this book kind of takes place in space and on Earth, so it's kind of split, and we have our CatStronauts who are up in space doing some science experiments, and then we also have our flight director away on Earth. So we're just trying to get everyone team bonding on Earth and also trying to control this chaos that has ensued with these science experiments. I ended up rating this 3 out of 5. This was my least favorite book in the entire series. Yes, this one was, because it just felt like there wasn't enough space for Kaylin with the CatStronauts being in space. It was just a lot of like team bonding and building on Earth, which is great, which is definitely awesome. But the stuff in space, I wanted more science experiments. I wanted everything to go a little bit more wrong than what had happened. So even though I loved and enjoyed this series, this was my least liked book in the series. Last but not least, we have book number 6 in the CatStronauts series, and this is right now up to speed on the series. And we have Digital Disaster. Digital Disaster is, I ended up rating it 3.5 out of 5 stars. This book goes and our CatStronauts get invited to go to this new space hotel with some of the kittens from the last book. So they get up into this space hotel that is like state-of-the-art, digital, and there's like this AI cat that is hosting this hotel, and things just go nuts. It had me on edge kind of, and it made me think of Illuminate by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, because I do not do the AI, but we had AI in here and it was terrifying. I was so scared and like, the entire time, because I was, okay, so if you made it to this point in the video, I'm now gonna spoil some things in here, so super spoiler alert. So in this book, we have CatStronauts, and he is back, and he has lived, has a new body or whatever, and he is also with the CatStronauts on this hotel. Well, something terrifying happens. This little AI decides to invade the robot's body and just goes haywire and wants everything to just be all about the AI. And I was like, AI has gone wrong yet again in another book, and I am terrified. But I really liked and enjoyed this book. I can't wait to see where the story goes next, if there's a continuation or a last novel. I would love to see more space adventures. I would actually have to rate overall this entire series 4 out of 5 stars. I loved and enjoyed it. I hope there is more, because this was just so much fun to read. And if I were to critique anything, if anything were to be better about this series, I would just want more space adventures. Like, do we discover any more planets, stars? Are there cat aliens out there that we don't know about? But yeah, other than that, I loved and enjoyed this series. And if you haven't picked it up, it is a fantastic middle grade graphic novel series that all ages would love. Anyways, that's gonna be it for the CatStronauts series review. If you've read these books, let me know in the comment section down below, or if you plan on picking them up, let me know too. Anyways, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and that's gonna be it for this week's bookish video. I will see you next week for a new one.